Hello everyone and welcome back to Life Redesigned. I am Bob.
I'm Karri.
And well, in 2022, Karri and I sold everything that we owned and we hit the road full time in our Grand Design 22 MLE, and we've made some videos on YouTube. And some of them, well, they did a lot bigger than what we thought, to the tune of 300,000 plus views, which then YouTube promotes out to the masses and the general public. And that's what this video is all about, is the general public and all the bad comments that we got about this lifestyle. We're going to share with you all the reasons that the general public hates you for being a full-time RVer. Now, before we get to today's video, Karri is going to upload this video with
Connected.
And if you need mobile internet for just off-grid living, van life, RV life, or you just want to upload videos down by the water in the beach like we are today in Topsail, North Carolina, you can do that all with Connected, the official internet provider of Life Redesigned. So back to the video topic here. I gotta get situated because everybody knows my back makes me jump around a little bit. Yeah, so we we did a video called "Everybody's Quitting RV Life," and it really wasn't true. We've covered this a couple of times, but that video was mostly calling out the YouTubers using this title of video to generate clicks for their channel. And it was basically something meant to reassure RVers that we're going full-time, that stop listening to the quote-unquote influencers because you're going to be okay, because we feel that's one of the worst things you could do to a group of people that watch your videos, is make them feel uncomfortable about the lifestyle that you've been selling them for 2 or 3 years. Well, with that came a whole bunch of people that either never had been in an RV, don't care to be RV, and they wanted to voice their opinion about RV life. And Karri's going to read from the book of knowledge because some of these were so good.
Yeah.
And I say that, and she had to write them down so we could read them off to you.
Yeah. Over sensationalizing of the lifestyle.
Now, this was one of the biggest complaints that we received. Something like 400 comments were dedicated to just this comment alone, which was they were sick and tired of RVers in the YouTube segment basically over-sensationalizing RV life. And that's everything from, you know, all those big old shots of them hanging out down by the waterfalls, always camping in these awesomely beautiful places and making it look like every day was a holiday. When in reality, if you're doing RV life any normal sort of way, you have your up places and you have your down places. But for YouTube at the time, especially during the pandemic, oh my God, were people over-sensationalizing this to the point where it just disgusted the general population. And we had seen quite a bit of that ourselves and wondered, why would people do this? And well, we found out later that it's because during the pandemic, people wanted to escape reality, and that's what they were doing through these videos. So that was kind of like the thing that soured a lot of people against this lifestyle, was just basically all the nonsense that was put out there, and still is till this day.
Sure is.
Next one.
Constant selling of stuff.
This is another one. We've heard it all, from those little rubber mittens for your jack stands to the specialized mattresses, which we have said before and discussed in quite a few videos, to the battery company that they promote one day and then they tell you not to buy the next day. And they're always creating a problem because they have a sponsored solution for it. Now, we have no problems with sponsors. We've said this before, we'll say it again, probably defending this position ad nauseum. The sponsorships are actually needed because most people wouldn't make YouTube videos if they weren't going to get something for their efforts. The problem became during the pandemic, and especially beyond, is that everybody started shilling for every single company that came along. And they just promoted frivolously. And none of these people were actually using the products. They were just being shills for these corporations. Then they got hooked on the money, and then they continued the path. There is so much now that they even have groups of people and groups of YouTubers that will sit around and they coordinate how they're going to meet up with sponsors. And you've got even some channels that are just out there braggadociously saying how they've got 35 sponsors on board to make this the ultimate RV adventure. And you know, while we say, hey, more power to them if that's what you want to do, and that's fine, but at the same time, we will call out every single one of them that does it dishonestly.
True story.
Next one.
A broad generalization of the term RV life.
And this is something that's important. Now, when we say RV life, we mean that we live in an RV and we travel full time. When other people say RV life, they picture a whole different thing. A lot of people aren't doing it for the travel and the fun in the breweries and the meetups and all this stuff. They're doing it because, well, financially, they have no other options. Right now, in this country, rent control is unbelievably missing. And people are finding it harder and harder to make ends meet, and RV life has become a necessity for a lot of people. When it becomes the choice of making a monthly rental payment of $2,000 or an RV park for $750, that's RV life. And when you start hijacking the terminology to suit an agenda for sponsorships, that's where you get a lot of this blowback. And it makes the rest of us that are out here just living, makes us look bad and guilty by association. Next.
Different financial situations.
Which I kind of bled into.
Yeah.
But not everybody has the financial means or the sponsorships or the ability to create money on the road. And that does feed into this. Not everybody's out here traveling. Again, I can't say this enough. And we are extremely blessed and fortunate to be doing what we're doing. And we never once take that.
Take it for granted
exactly.
at all.
Thank you. I
it
appreciate
could all
that.
go away in like that.
Absolutely. So, you have to know your audience.
Yep. Homeless camps of RV living.
And this is another thing that came up quite a bit, was that when people started making videos about RV life, what they were forgetting about was places like California that has a huge problem with abandoned RVs on multiple cities' streets where people are living in them. They're dumping their sewage on the roads. This is all over the place. I'm not going to get into it because a lot of this is politically tied and I don't want to go down that road. But a lot of this has to do with the homeless using RVs, and there's even some organizations that were giving out RVs to homeless people as a way to house them, but then now RV living has become associated with homeless living, and you have this whole big anti-thing that people think that what's going on in these homeless camps on the streets are what's happening here. They picture RVers in the full-time living segment as dumping sewage everywhere, being harmful to the environment and everything else. And really, for the most part, what we've seen in our travels, the way we live, that's quite the opposite.
Yeah.
RVers are some of the most natural and caring people when it comes to the environment. So, but again, this is the YouTube over sensationalism that brings this all around.
Sure is.
Next point.
Environmental impact.
And again, something I just led into, kind of just blurring this all together, is the environmental impact. People have yelled at us because our lifestyle creates more gas to drive from place to place to place and all this other stuff. But the reality is, when Karri and I run the numbers, we actually use less fuel not driving to work every day, because I work remote and I don't have those 300 to 400 miles every week just going back and forth to work, plus our extra activities. RVing has cut our mileage down tremendously because, well, one, I have a big truck and that's expensive, and two, we kind of camp in the areas that we want to be around, like today. Topsail, North Carolina in February, wearing a t-shirt. It's great. And really,
It's a little breezy.
And really, to wrap this video all up, and the number one reason that the general public feels that they hate RVers and RV living is
Jealousy.
and that's really what a lot of this comes down to. A lot of people are afraid to step outside the norm. And we've seen this on videos we've covered, such as being swingers, which we're not.
No.
We've talked about quitting RV life, which we're not. All these other videos that we've done, it's just, a little bit different than the norm, is that, well, people are always mean when it comes to things they don't understand.
Right. Well, it's either you have twofold. So you have one where you're out seeing only the most beautiful areas in America, or B, you have the homelessness that we were talking about. Nobody ever talks about, or they're afraid to know about, what happens in the middle, which is what we do and just live.
Right, and that's a really great point. Now, when you look at the terms of YouTube and what has happened over the past few years, the RV segment on YouTube is one of the most overly saturated segments because, as well, it's quick and easy to make videos. You're always traveling, you can always do something, you can always have an experience to share out with the public. But what's happened is we've seen this high and low. When people make money during the pandemic, they're coming out of it and they keep flip-flopping. First, it's you need to live this lifestyle, and then they get caught, you know, basically peddling a bunch of BS, and then they got told, or they start telling their audience, you don't want to live this lifestyle. RVs are the greatest thing, and now you see this trend where RVs are all garbage. Well, they've been the same build quality for the past few years, but right now negativity is really hot on YouTube. You want proof of that, you can go back to some of our videos, and we love to play this experiment where we do the best of, and then 3 or 4 days later we release the worst of, and the worst of will always outperform the best of because, well, that's what happens. And people that are not caring about how they make their money on YouTube will exploit that all day long.
Yep.
And that's what's sad because it really hurts the community as a whole. But yeah, interestingly enough, they'll talk about community all day long because it is a catchphrase and a buzzword for them. Consume your YouTube wisely, and you can navigate all this stuff. This lifestyle is amazing, but just know that people have ruined it just like everything else that man touches. There's always a bad opinion of it along the way.
Yep.
Until next time, I am Bob.
I'm Karri.
And this has been Life Redesigned with another video. Catch you.
Ooh, next time.
Whoa, you said it.
I did.
Bye.